So it looks like DC executives, Warner Brothers executives, are not feeling too kindly about some statements that James Gunn made recently. Now, James Gunn has kind of been under fire ever since the DCEU reboot, and more importantly, with Henry Cavill being released from his duties as Superman, James Gunn has been getting a lot of backlash. Well, guys, it looks like he's not getting just backlash from the fans, because it looks like some WB execs. Now, this is coming from thedirect.com, but here's some article in the Hollywood Reporter, and it says right here, according to the Hollywood Reporter, in the latest newsletter, DC Studio CEO James Gunn and Peter Safran have been reportedly ruffling some feathers with some certain WB executives, mostly the old guard over there that's not really happy with what is going on. Now, if you guys aren't familiar, you know, DCEU has kind of been a shambles for a while now, right? We had some great stuff. I'm not going to sit here and say we didn't have some great stuff. We had some absolute great stuff. We also had a lot of stinkers. But the one thing that I've always stated was we never had consistency within the WB DCEU system. We never had that leadership, that role. Well, now we have that. Now we have a new leader over there. They put James Gunn and Peter Safran in charge. They created their own DC studios, because before DC didn't have its own studios. It was still being run by the Warner Brothers film division. And I kept saying they need to get their own studio, much like Marvel has its own studio, right? Marvel, yes, is owned by Disney, but Disney is like the overall parenting company and all that stuff. And Marvel is its own studio making its own films, its own project, and of course they answer to whoever's up in charge currently is Bob Iger. So James Gunn had a statement down here. This is coming from the Hollywood Reporter, and I want to read this because this is exactly how I feel. The history of DC is pretty messed up. No one's minding the mint. They were just giving away IP like they were party favors to any creators who smiled at them. What we're going to do is promise that everything from our first project going forward will be unified. Now, I think it's really, really funny how James Gunn says, yeah, they were just giving IP away for anyone. Like anyone who came in with an idea was like, boom, you got an IP, you got an IP. And that was the problem, right? And I kept saying, that's the difference between someone like Kevin Feige and someone like people over at Warner Brothers, where Kevin Feige comes in, like, they grab this director, and this director's like, well, we want to do this. And Kevin Feige's like, well, that's great. That doesn't work into my plan. This is my layout. This is my plan. You want to direct something like this, you know, blah, blah, blah. Whereas Warner Brothers comes in, and whoever comes in, like Matt Reeves, okay, Matt Reeves, you're awesome. We love the Planet of the Apes movies, Cloverfield, awesome, everything. We want you to direct the Batman movie. Okay, but it can't be Ben Affleck. It has to be, you know, this younger version, and it can't be attached to this. It has to be attached to that. Okay, fine. And then we have, you know, the whole thing with the Joker, right? The Joker coming in. Oh, can't be attached to this. It's got to be its own little standalone. I want it to sort of be like this Martin Scorsese kind of feel, like Taxi Driver. It's got to be its own thing, you know? And that was the problem. Every time someone came in, it wasn't like, we want you to direct this. No, it's like, what do you want to direct today? And that was the biggest problem with the DCEU, was everybody was coming in. I mean, guys, let's not even talk about the projects that were canceled, right? We're talking about, like, James Gunn pitched a Trench movie, and Walter Hamada said yes. You know, we had a New Gods movie in development by Ava DuVernay, which eventually petered out, right? And then let's not forget the Constantine movie with Keanu Reeves coming back, because Keanu Reeves is big again. So let's get a Constantine movie, right? And none of it made sense to the overall picture and the narrative of the DCEU. But because directors were coming in, they were pitching these things, the studio was like, oh yeah, we'll do that, we'll do this, we'll do that. We have J.J. Abrams, you know, developing a Superman project and all this. None of it made any sense. None of it made any sense. And I said from the very get-go, DC and Warner Brothers' biggest problem is there isn't one focus point. There isn't no leadership. There is no leadership. There was no leadership. Walter Hamada was just a figurehead that let anything get past him. He didn't care, right? You came in with an idea, boom, you're getting greenlit, no matter how stupid the idea actually was, right? Like a Trench movie. The fact that we have and I love the Matt Reeves Batman movie. I absolutely love it. But do you think someone would have came in to Kevin Feige and said, I want to do an Iron Man movie that has nothing to do with the MCU, and I'm going to get this young actor, it's going to be a young Iron Man? Kevin Feige would be like, well, that's great. That ain't happening on my watch. You know, it's the same premise. It's the absolute same premise where Warner Brothers just allowed anybody to come in and do whatever they want. They didn't care about unifying this thing, and it was a absolute train wreck and a mess. So now you got James Gunn coming in, and he's calling them out on their BS. James Gunn's calling them out like, look, man, y'all, doing all this crazy crap is stupid. He also went on to say that we're not going to be making movies and putting hundreds of millions of dollars into a film where a screenplay is only 2/3 of the way done. Thank you. And we have to finish it while we're making the movie. I've seen it happen again and again, and it's a mess. And I think the primary reason in the deterioration and quality of the films today versus 20, 30 years ago. Yes, absolutely. Here's the thing. People come in with these stupid ideas, and they don't have a full-on script. Look at Rise of Skywalker, if you want an example. They had no idea what they were doing with Rise of Skywalker. They were changing stuff on the fly. This is confirmed by Daisy Ridley and other people like John Boyega that the script wasn't done. They were changing things on the fly. Yeah, James Gunn is going about this the smart way. We're not going to invest hundreds of millions of dollars in projects that, one, is not connected, and two, they're not fully realized in the actual product of what they're doing. So anyway, I like a lot of stuff from the DCEU. Back when we had Zack Snyder as the one central figure, when he was the figurehead, we had a vision. Whether you like the vision or not, Zack Snyder had the vision. But when Warner Brothers decided to go away from that vision and they started just greenlighting everything under the sun, DC really went down the crap hole. And now James Gunn is like, look, we're not doing that. We're gonna fix this. And we're going to fix this the right way by making sure we have good projects and we're all unified. And we're not going to be, I'm telling you, once the Matt Reeves contract is over with and then this Joker sequels contract is over with, we're not going to get any more spin-off Elseworld stuff. Right now, James Gunn kind of walked in and had to inherit that bull crap. Not saying those movies or projects are going to be crap, saying that they should never have existed in the first place. They should never have existed in the first place in the current landscape of what they were trying to build. They were shooting themselves in the foot. They were in a boat and pouring water. They were flooding themselves. Like, it made no sense. It made absolutely no sense. They were poisoning their own product, and they weren't smart enough to see it. And now James Gunn and Peter Safran's here to try to fix that. So whether it's going to be a better product in the end, we don't know. Only time will tell. But I give James Gunn a big props here. I give him a lot of props, for actually calling out the BS that happened. Anybody with logical sense, right, with actual sense, saw what was going on and knew what was going on. For years, I had a character I played called David P. Dumbass, right? And he was like greenlighting all these stupid, crazy movies, right? That's what WB was doing. All right, Matt Reeves standalone Batman movie, a Joker 2. Oh my God, it made no sense. Nothing was connected. All you're doing is confusing the average moviegoer. That's it. So anyway, that's my thoughts on it. So James Gunn ruffling some feathers, but I think he's speaking the truth. I want to know what you guys think. Be sure to leave those comments in the comment box. Be sure to smash that like and subscribe button. And until next time, as always, I'm Robert Storms, and that's my opinion.